Steve McManman, great to see you here in the studio. To see you again.
I know. We're best of friends now. And I'm going to see you next week as well.
You will. I said to you before the interview, I got a feeling I've been speaking to you in the last few months more often than I've been speaking to some of my own cousins back home, which is not a bad thing, by the way. Actually, the last time I saw you was Liverpool against Spurs.
Yes, it was.
Special date Anfield as well.
עולה הכדור. ומגיע לגג פה. וגג פה. עדיין נמצא בבועט פנימה! בפעם ה-20, ליברפול, אלופת אנגליה.
Liverpool won the league. How did you celebrate that special occasion?
I had a few drinks at Anfield, but not long. I wasn't there long. And then I went back home and had a few drinks at home. Well, had a few drinks away from the house, but in the area where I live. Because if you remember, it was very chaotic outside of the grounds, wasn't it? Very chaotic. And I thought it'd be better if I got in my car, drove.
You managed to leave the stadium because it was really busy around.
Yeah, I managed to get away, and I had a few drinks with some friends back home. Yeah, it was a lovely day, as you can remember, against Spurs. You could feel it in the air and the atmosphere. It was really nice, enjoyable. The result was great, and no doubt the Crystal Palace game will be the same. It'll be a party atmosphere, and everybody will enjoy themselves.
בפעם ה-20 בתולדותיה, ליברפול היא אלופת אנגליה.
Five years ago, Liverpool won the league under Jurgen. This time under Arne Slot. What are the main differences you see between those two title wins from your perspective?
Apart from the fans being in the house,
which is a big difference,
which is brilliant.
The style of play.
The style of play, I think, has changed a little bit. Not noticeably, because it's more or less the same type of players. But I don't think they're as gung-ho as they were with Jurgen. I don't think they press as much as they were with Jurgen. I think Mo's changed his role slightly, where he doesn't necessarily have to track back as much as when he was with Jurgen. But I think principally it's all the same. The same players are virtually playing. The same players are doing, the things that they do well. You can't suddenly say, right, stop doing that, we're going to do this. They still play more or less the same formation, with the same players. So apart from a few tweaks here and there, probably in the training grounds, the workloads, things like that, there isn't a huge amount of difference.
12 months ago, there was a great moment when Jurgen left and he was encouraging all the fans to sing Arne Slot, etc. And then Arne returned the favour recently. When Jurgen announced 12 months ago, I'm moving on, Arne Slot will be the next manager. How did you feel? Were you nervous a little bit? Were you had any concerns?
No, I wasn't actually. I wasn't. I thought I knew Jurgen and his tenure was going to come to an end, and it was going to end soon. Or it's exactly. It's just what happens. It's a very high-profile job. It's a very high-pressurised job. Pep Guardiola will leave Manchester City soon enough, whenever it's next year, the year later. But these managers will go because it's a lot of toil on their personal life, on their family life, and the way they are, and their health and everything, because they live and breathe football. So it wasn't necessarily a shock that he was going. I work at the academy, and I'd heard the rumours that he was going to leave anyway. So it wasn't a huge shock for me. I had faith in the sporting directors at Liverpool that they would choose the right manager. Of course, the rumour mill was Xabi Alonso was going to come, and then Ruben Amorim was going to come, which we all know, of course, was a load of nonsense. And Arne Slot was chosen, and he was chosen for the right principles, for his the way he managed Feyenoord very well through a difficult period, the way he was successful, and I was very pleased that he came in. Very pleased that he came in.
You spoke about changes. We know in football, everything changes dramatically, and it feels this summer is a big summer for Liverpool in terms of recruitment, adding players, letting some players move on. So I want to throw a few names at you, a bit of a game. Keep or sell?
Go on then.
Diogo Jota.
Keep.
Luis Diaz.
Keep.
Federico Chiesa.
I think he'll leave. If he wants to play for Italy, I'd keep everybody, because I think the bigger the squad, the better. But I think for their own personal development and getting into the Italian squad, etc., I think he probably needs to leave.
Gerald Kwanzaa.
Stay. Keep, sorry.
Andy Robertson.
Keep.
And the Georgian goalkeeper,
Mamashvili, well, he's coming in, isn't he? Yeah.
You think it's time for him to come in, and how it's going to happen? How it's going to impact Quivin Callagher?
Well, I think I love Quivin. I think he should be able to choose what he wants to do. If he wants to stay at Liverpool, and I'll be very happy for him. But I think him as a goalkeeper who's been number 2 to Alisson over the last couple of years, and when he plays, he's exceptional all the time. I think it's probably better for him, if he wants to go and join a really big club and get the credit he deserves.
Got good experience now.
Yes, get the wages he deserves. So it's probably better for him, really, if he moves on. But I'd love to keep him, because he belongs at Liverpool from where he came. But I think he deserves his chance now to be a really star goalkeeper, because I look across the league, the Premier League, at goalkeepers, and he is one of the best already. Yep. So he deserves his time, I think.
Trent Alexander-Arnold came on in the second half. He was very, very good, and he's extremely emotional now, because after 20 years, he's on his way.
Trent Alexander-Arnold, a move from a local lad from Liverpool to Real Madrid. Sounds familiar. We're going to talk about this as well. And I want to ask you about his departure from Liverpool, because we know he said, it's been announced he's going to leave the football club in the end of the season. What do you think about the way it's been done, about his chances, if it is Madrid, to be successful there? And the most important thing, the fans' reaction. We heard the boos recently. No one can ignore it anymore.
I think the way it's done was never going to please everybody. You can announce it in January, you can announce it in February, you can do what Kylian Mbappe did and announce it in June. So I don't think there's a right or a wrong way of doing it. I think there'll be people who are fine with it, as long as Trent was happy with the way it was done. I think I'm happy the way it was done. Will he be a success if he goes to a particular club? Yes, he will, because he's an amazing footballer. He'll only choose, I presume, only the best teams in Europe would want him. So if it was Bayern Munich, I think he'd be a success. If it's Real Madrid, I think he'd be a success. As for the reception, I was disappointed really with it, because I think that...
Was opposed towards you?
Yeah, because I think that it's only going to affect the team, and it affects the team negatively. But I fully expected it, to be honest. It's football is very emotive. The reaction to when Trent, Virgil and Mo were all up for contract was very different. It was very different. If Mo and Virgil would have left the club, they would have went with everybody's blessings. But if Trent left the club, it would have been, wrong.
Because he's a local lad?
Yes, because he's a local lad. Yes. Even though, Mo was bought for £50 million and Virgil was bought for £75 million and Trent was bought for, effectively for nothing, of course, came through the ranks, climbed the ladder of the ranks. So I fully expected it. As I said before, football fans are very passionate. They don't like anybody leaving their teams.
שמעתם את זה טוב. בפעם הראשונה מאז שעלה לבוגרים בליברפול, טרנט אלכסנדר ארנולד שומע בוז צורם מהקהל שלו, מהבית שלו.
I just don't like the fact that if you're booing it, it's going to have a negative effect on the other 10 players, because the atmosphere will drop. It'll change what it's like in the ground. And I would have preferred it if Liverpool would have won the game against Arsenal rather than finish 2-2. Because the only story about it was the booing. And I thought I wanted Liverpool to try and get to 90 points. So I wanted them to win against Arsenal. And I wanted them to win at the weekend. I wanted them to win against Crystal Palace and get to 90 points. And I just think it has a knock-on effect, really.
Talk me through that move from Liverpool to Real Madrid. The challenge, how you adapted, and when you go to dressing room full of stars, the Galacticos, how do you react? How huge is Real Madrid? We see it from the outside, massive club. Yeah. How huge is to play there?
Yeah, it's when I chose to go, I knew it was going to be difficult. I knew it was going to be hard, because I was leaving, 25 of my best friends at Liverpool to go to a place where I didn't know anybody. So it was always going to be hard. It's like you leaving to a different country and starting a new job. It's going to be difficult. You have to adapt by giving yourself the best possible chance. You have to try and learn the language. You have to try and settle as quickly as possible. You don't want to be living in a hotel and out of 3 suitcases for 6 months. I think that makes sense. It's quite easy. You relocate, you try and get a house, you try and get settled down, you try and get your own furniture, and you try and be comfortable as soon as possible. And then you try and be friendly with your teammates. I think it's a lot easier now because a lot of people speak English more than they did, 20, 25 years ago. I think it depends on which city you live in, because, of course, some cities are more cosmopolitan than others. So there's a wide range of effects, which probably is the same in every walk of life. The dressing room is cool. It's like any other dressing room. when we're talking specifically about Real Madrid, it was a fantastic club, and it is now. I've heard lots and lots of nonsense spoken about them because they're a big club and because they get the best players. But intrinsically inside the club, it's still a very family-orientated club. And when I go back there now, there's staff there who worked there when I was there. They look after their own.
Longevity.
Yes, and you know, as I said, I personally think it's a great club. It's very similar to Liverpool. Lots of history. They look after people. They're very family orientated. They're just two massive clubs in the history of European football.
How would you compare Liverpool at your day, when there are way more local lads, you know, from the era, Scousers, and the connection with the fans was great, but the team wasn't winning a lot of trophies, to the last 10 years, when there are less local lads from Liverpool, but look at the trophies and the silverware?
Yeah, I think it's just the progression of football, isn't it? There's more money in football, therefore you can. The world of football is an open place now, so we know the data, the sports science. We know every player across the world nowadays. So there's no hidden gems in Argentina or Brazil or in Hungary or in Germany. We know everybody because everybody's on a database and all their numbers are on a database. So I understand why there's nationalities from all over the world at every team in the Premier League, and the Premier League is a very wealthy and healthy league. So the influx of players is going to be, you know, more and more and more every single year. So if you compare my era to the era before that, when Liverpool were very successful, their team were predominantly from the UK. You know, Irish players, Scottish players. Yeah. So it's just the nature of football, the way it moves forward, and it's not a big surprise. I mean, it's brilliant the fact that Liverpool are always competing for trophies and always in the top 10 every single year. I think that's wonderful, and the fact that you can do that for 30, 40, 50 years is remarkable.
Liverpool had and still have wonderful players, and I want to play a bit of a game with you.
Okay.
I want you to choose the best ever starting 11 for Liverpool. I went with a solid 4-4-2. Feel free to challenge me. Goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs, right back, left back, holding midfielder, attacking midfielder, 2 wingers, 2 strikers.
Wow. I mean, how far can I go back?
Your history, I'm sure history is great. You can go for Ray Clements, you can go for Alisson for the goalkeeper, whatever you want.
You know what?
The greatest goalkeeper.
I'll go for Alisson at this moment in time because Liverpool, I think, the goalkeeper position has evolved, and with all respect to the goalkeepers back in the day, you could pick the ball up and roll it around your own box and play. Now you have to be adaptable and you have to be able to play with your feet.
He's playing like a holding midfielder sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, correct. So I'll go for Alisson. Right back is difficult because I love Trent Alexander-Arnold, but you've also got Phil Neal there who hardly missed a game in 10 years.
How many appearances for the football club?
Correct. Yeah. So I'll probably go for Neely. Phil Neal I'll go for Virgil van Dijk because you have to put Virgil in.
Yeah.
And then I will go for Alan Hansen alongside Virgil van Dijk. Superstar names, very successful.
Yeah.
Different eras, of course. I don't want to just choose this era because that would be wrong.
You can't forget anything with kids.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. He was speaking about Man United, that's fine.
Of course.
Left back, I will go for... Wow. Alan Kennedy scored 2 in 2 Champions League finals, didn't he? There were two the winners with the penalty.
Maybe the player they signed from Hull for 8 million, Andy Robertson?
Yeah, Andy Robertson, yeah. I mean, I love Steve Nicol, to be very honest. I love Steve Nicol, so I'm going to go for Steve Nicol.
Okay. Because
he could play in a number of positions. Robbo's been fantastic, of course he is. Right, midfield, this is where it gets more difficult. Graham Souness, my number 6, holding midfielder, aggressive, but an incredibly gifted football player. The legend that is Johnny Barnes on the left, who's just gorgeous with the ball, a real playmaker, could do anything with the ball. I seriously think he's one of the greatest players Liverpool have ever had. Steven Gerrard, that's 3 in midfield. Steven, I think, speaks for himself. Now, it's whether I have another midfielder or whether I have 3 forwards. What do we think? I'll go for...
You got more caps in Liverpool than me, then I'll let you decide.
So I've got Souness, I've got
Barnesy
and Steven, and then my forward line, wow, would have to be Sekeni up front as the 10. I think I'll have to go for Rushy, won't I? I'll have to go for Ian Rush. He's the leading goal scorer for Liverpool Football Club, so you have to go for Rushy. And then it's between Mo Salah or Robbie Fowler. And Robbie Fowler's my best mate, so Robbie Fowler's in as well.
Now it's McAteer. Oh, beautifully done, Fowler. Wrong footing Staunton, and look at the shot! Oh! Screamer! 2-0! This is irresistible stuff.
We spoke about Liverpool's starting 11 of all time. It wasn't easy, but you made up your mind. Let's talk about let's try to create the most complete, the ultimate Liverpool player. I'm going to throw quality, and you tell me who's the first player that goes through your mind.
Okay.
Heading ability.
It would probably be a defender. It'd probably be someone like Virgil, I think, as a big, strong defensive. Yeah, you'd probably someone like Virgil.
Dribbling.
Barnesy.
Running down the wing.
I mean, I don't want to say Barnesy again because I've chosen Barnesy, but it'd have to be Mo Salah, I think, at this moment.
Tackling.
Oh, it's somebody like Graham Souness or Steve McMahon, but probably Graham Souness.
Intelligence.
Kenny Dalglish.
Pace. McManaman was not that.
I'm not choosing myself in any of them. Who was really... Michael Owen was very quick, actually. Michael Owen off the mark. Yeah, brilliant, yeah.
Best sense of humour.
Robbie Fowler.
Leadership.
I mean, I think the captain now is a very good leader. I think Virgil van Dijk's a very good leader. But I think all captains, Phil Thompson going back, Graham Souness going back, I think they were all... when you speak to the people who they played with, Steven Gerrard, you know, they were all very good captains. They led by example. Rank
me your top 3 Liverpool players this season.
Mo.
And why, of course?
Mo, because of what he's achieved on the pitch this year. He's going to be voted... Well, he's going to get every single award this year. So that's an easy one. I think Ryan Gravenberch, I mean, there's a few actually. It's hard with 3. I think Virgil van Dijk's been excellent, and he always is excellent. And he's a real calming influence in defence.
Ryan is a good shot because last year under Jurgen, he struggled.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And this year,
that's what I mean. Right, I like right down the middle of the pitch. So I think McAllister's had a really good year, but I'd go for Gravenberch because there was talk at the beginning of the season that they were going to bring in Zubamendi and that they needed somebody in that position, but actually... Ryan Gravenberch's been a revelation, hasn't it? He's young, he's adaptable, he plays in a number of positions, and this was a new position really for him, and I think he's been exceptional. So it would be Mo, Virgil and Gravenberch right down the spine of the team, really.
Okay. Let's finish by choosing the greatest English midfielder ever. I'm going to throw a couple of names at you.
Okay.
You decide who was better and he was going to make it to the next round.
Okay.
Paul Scholes or Frank Lampard?
Oh my God.
We're starting nice and easy.
Start. Two friends
nice
of mine.
and easy.
I'll go with Scholes, just because I think he's won more than Frank, I think.
Scholes or Beckham?
Scholes.
Scholes or Brian Robson?
Funny enough, I spoke to Brian Robson the day before yesterday.
He's such a kind guy.
He lives by me, and it was the first time I'd seen him in a while. Captain Marvel. I'll go with Scholesy.
Scholesy or Glenn Hoddle?
Scholesy.
Scholesy or Paul Ince?
These are all good friends of mine. Do you know that? This can't be aired anywhere soon. God bless us. Ince or Scholesy? I'll go with Scholesy.
Scholesy or Steven Gerrard?
Steven.
Steven Gerrard or Jude Bellingham?
At this moment in time, Steven.
Steven Gerrard or Paul Gascoigne?
Different types of player, but Steven.
Steven Gerrard or Steve McManaman?
Oh, Steven.
Okay.
Gerrard.
Have a great summer.
Thank
See you soon again.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Lovely
much.
seeing you.
Thank you.
Run, Stevie, do what you can. Get you a house and a car and some happiness.